Welcome to Narrowboat, the James Bill. It is absolutely scalding in here today, and there's kind of like no breeze. I've got boats on both sides now, but I need to crack on. Still doing this. So water tank I need to drain in a little bit. That I need to put in. Before I do that, I kind of put some red oxide down on it, and I might do that now actually, so it can dry off. Then I can put in the new filler cap and kind of tap that into place. Bring the water tank up, put it in, put that floor down, black the bottom of that maybe, put it down, put the tank in, and then start to think about how to line up the pipe work in the boat and kind of configure that kind of stuff. And when that's in place there, and then what else I've got to do? Weed hatch. That's something else. Okay, the tank has had, well, some time. Let's drain it. Right, 650 litres of hopefully fresh water to kind of, I don't know, soak up all of that. Okay, so it might not really look like it at the moment, but this is kind of aiming towards getting slightly sorted on the boat. So I've been hoovering. But this area here hasn't yet been touched. I need to smash all them up, get some boxes, and then take them to the tip. Every time I leave here and come back, I always forget the boxes. Obviously, I can't put them in bags. So that I've got to do this afternoon. But the rest of it is kind of looking slightly tidier and stuff now. So yes. Next step, once I've done the tiles, is to put that down, then it will start to look kind of a bit more organised in here. Last little bit coming out now, then I can get the tank back in the boat. Well, I'll give it a clean first. I hope I don't have to rub the names off. I'm not going to lay this as one piece. I don't think I am. Yeah, I don't think that's going to fit, that one. Anyway, I got some more bits, but I was going to do it in two bits anyway, because the rest of the floor is all in two sections. So what I was going to do is do a large bit over there, because there's a bit of a broken or sawn off batten there. So put the large bit there, and then the thin slither there. And then that's it, that floor's done. That's the lower bit for the water tank. And then I can start to turn my attention to some of these side walls which need attention. Okay, that's a first board cut lengthways. Now I need to scribe to that edge using the old pen and stick trick. I've scribed that edge, just need to kind of give it a quick sanding over, but before I do any further, I've got to kind of repair the sides here. So there's a sawn off screw there, a cut off screw head there. There's all this, I think this is kind of dried on old glue or something from a while ago. So all of that can come off and just neaten up that edge a little bit and make sure I can get a decent fixing. Okay, that board's been scribed in place. This one has been cut to the right length. Now just got to scribe it down there, trim that bit off, and then trim that leading edge up there. Right, I've scribed this, but there's a little what's that? It's an upright kind of girder there getting in the way, so I'm gonna have to trim a bit off this off here, just so we can go around there and it can fit nice and snug underneath that wall. Right, both bits of the floor in. I just need to seal the edges ideally. I should do. I don't think I've got any PVA. Oh no, I've got wood glue, yeah. So right, I will seal all the edges and then so mix down some wood glue and some water and just kind of brush that around there. I do still want to black all of these battens and stuff on there just because, well, just kind of gives it a little bit of moisture resistancy. And then screwing all of these to the battens. I just need to mark out the batten locations on top of these. And then that'll be it. Floor will be done. Then I can bring the water tank back inside. Thin it down with a little bit of water. Right, first step, hoover up and keep the space nice and tidy. Right, next up, the 3 boards need all their edges sanding. I'm slowly making my way through the boat. The bathroom floor is now swept. Got to remove all those pipes and stuff first, but before I do that, this is the next area. I've had a chat with the owner, which I will chat to you about later on, but he said basically dump all the clothes unless there's anything particularly lovely in there, get rid of it. He also said there's a 1,200 quid Tag Heuer watch in there somewhere, so he said I can dig that out, have myself a new timepiece. Right, progress is being made here. This is 25mm thick ply. It's really quite chunky. It weighs a ton. I can't get it out the boat, so I'm gonna have to cut it up, but I'm trying to kind of think what I could potentially repurpose it for, because it's a damn sturdy bit of timber that is. But I might just, for the moment, kind of stack it up there, try to get it out of the way maybe, and then unearth what's underneath. It's a rather nice one for special occasions. Right, let's clear up all that now. Right, now it's pretty much empty, and it's not all just out on the rear deck, it's all in the car, and it's going to the tip. There's a few bits I've salvaged, and a few bits I don't really know what to do with. This is, I think this is a motorcycle crash helmet. Yeah, that's what that is. That is an arc welder. Pretty sure he's not going to want the rubbish printer or the shaver or anything, but I don't know what to do with that. Maybe Sweary Dan might know what we could do with that. And there were some arc weldy bits here. I don't know what I'm talking about, but welding rods, gloves, masks, that kind of stuff. But definitely the most interesting were these two. So these are Narrowboat windows. They're all complete, so glass in both of them. That's that bit for that one. And they look brand new. So I don't know, they're the same ones on the boat. I don't need any replacements for these because they're all fine. Obviously you can't really kind of keep them hanging around. So in terms of repurposing that 25mm board, I was thinking about basically making a new version of the water tank board, one that kind of fills the whole gap and is obviously a little bit thicker and stronger. So yeah, I just kind of made a template using that, and I'll cut it out now. There we go, there's the inch thick piece of ply right at the front there, so I can screw that in place. Then I can bring the water tank up. This is going to make such a difference when I get rid of this in terms of getting in and out of the boat, to make it much easier. I'm glad I managed to repurpose the top of this, because that was going to be kind of disheartening to chuck all that, or I mean I couldn't really stow it away anywhere, so, and I had to cut it up to get it off, so yeah, it's worked a treat. I'll reuse the other floor I was going to use for it. Oh, this looks much better, not having that straight down dog leg as soon as you get in the boat, straight into a bed. Right, I've got to get this stuff into the car if I can, and get that to the tip before it closes. Yeah, that's the plan. Excellent, water tank's back in. Right, so more stuff to go to the tip, chuck that in the car. More stuff there, but that's been positioned because I keep smacking my kind of midriff area on that, which is annoying me, so I'm looking forward to getting rid of that. But the old bed is gone. It's all kind of stacked up here. In terms of items that I've salvaged, so there's the helmet, the arc welder, bag of toiletries, some of which I might use, welding stuff, chair, gun, well they were all there, and a bag. And then the windows. So yeah, I'm not too sure what to do with these yet. I might speak to someone here, see if anyone needs them here. I don't really want to have to put them on eBay or anything. So if anyone does need them or want them, then get in touch. And then the rest of it's looking all right, kind of pretty organised. Someone did get in touch wanting them more so, but I don't think they need it anymore, so I think that's up for grabs. I've got a lady in Cow Roast that I'm going to go and hand deliver that to tomorrow, so that's sorted her out. Water tank's back in, and tomorrow I'm going to hook it all up and then fill it and then test that. So I'm quite tempted to have a washing machine and actually even a dishwasher on board. So I'm going to test it to see firstly if it works. I've got loads of washing that need to be done, so see if it works, and then secondly work out how much water it consumes, and then I'll plug it into the anchor thing and see how much electricity it consumes, and then work out if it's a viable thing to have on board or not. I do need to get that fridge kind of tested and stuff as well, work that out. But it's kind of taking a bit of shape now. I'm trying to kind of keep things organised. Right, now it's time to sort out the weed hatch. I just need to tidy it all up a bit and then put some rubber seal around it, and then maybe a lick of paint, and then back in the boat. Right, I'll leave that for a minute to bake in the sun. Then I'll put some garage floor paint on top of it once I've put the rubber strips down. Right, engine bay stuff to be cracking on with. So I've got isolation switch, which needs to go in there. Starter battery needs to go down there, and connections made. Right, I've applied a bit of red oxide to that. I need to then drill and tap the holes, but I also need to give this area a decent cleaning and scrubbing, certainly around here. There's a whole load of gunk. I think that's some kind of glue or something which has spilt. God knows what it all is. So I'm going to try to scrape all this stuff up as well. Nice spot here in the sun. It's coming up pretty easily. It's a bit gross. I mean, really gross. Now, when I'm filling the tank, I can give this all nice clean down. Right, back to the water tank. The hose is back in, all been clamped in place, and obviously I've just put that on the red oxide, so I can take that off obviously when I need to repaint the well deck. Right, now I need to put in some braces just down there to stop the tank moving around. Right, now to go on with the garage floor paint. I've come to Denker Batteries in Watford to trade in the starter battery and get a new one, but this looks to be a place that I might soon spend an awful lot of time and money. Right, there we go. Just a little tip, always have the negative terminal close to the steel wall of the boat. Right, starter battery is in place. Right, couple more bits to do on the tank before it's all finished. So the breather, I just need to put a breather pipe on there and have that come up to about there, as long as it's higher than the inlet. The other thing I need to do, you see I've put the brace in there at the bottom, is I need to put a water gauge in. And there are 3 different types of water gauges, and surprisingly, there's quite a few boats I've seen, like decent new boats, where they've got no idea how much water they've got left in their tank. So I need to put a water gauge in. As I said, there are 3 different types of ones you can get. There is one which basically monitors the pressure in the tank, so it needs to be calibrated when you fill the tank and when you empty it, and then it works out what the pressure differential is, and then you have a little dial somewhere which tells you full to empty. So that's one way of doing it. I think it's a little bit of a faff, because you've got to basically calibrate the pressure. The other way of doing it is having a plunge kind of depth thing inside the tank. So you can buy them depending on what height your tank is. You cut a hole at the top, and it's got like a gravity fed kind of weight. So as the tank empties, it falls down and it sends a signal through a cable to a dial somewhere, again showing if it's full or empty. But obviously that means cutting into the tank, and then I'm going to have a problem there because it's going to be below my breather. So when I fill up the tank, it's just going to flood from there. So I can't have that. So the solution I'm going to go for is an inline gauge. And basically what it does is it counts the amount of litres that you've dispensed from the tank, and it converts that onto a full to empty needle. But you could also have it through an app or anything like that, because it's runs off Bluetooth. So or you can get a little screen put up here showing you how much water's left in the tank. So I think I'm going to go for that. There's a few different models and stuff out there, so I'll do my research, but it'll be inline there. It's quite easy, and yeah, just counts the amount of litres that comes out the tank. But that is something that I'm going to need to do, but I don't need to do that straight away, because yeah, it's inline. It's been so hot working in that boat over the last few days. I haven't done much work to camera because I've spent most of my swimming trunk sweating buckets, but a lot of progress has been made, or visual anyway, because it is pretty empty in there now, and all the stuff's been taken off the boat and chucked in the tip. So kind of it's looking in quite a decent place. I'm glad that the water tank's back in, that's all sorted. Well deck's clear. I've got to clear the roof a little bit before we set sail, but importantly, all the main stuff's out the boat now, which is good, and it's not just all dumped here. So when I get, because on Monday, which is crane day here, there's no hanging around with Ralph. Once you get wet, you sod off. So really, I just want to make sure that all the air around the boat is kind of good to go. So and that's it. Once we kind of leave here on Monday, so I've got to make sure that the engine is all good to go. So starter batteries, the new starter batteries in, it's all wired up, it works off the key. So yeah, it's fine. I just need to bleed the skin tanks before we go on Monday. But yeah, that's all fine. And then a couple of days cruise, and I'll be back up to Berkhamsted next door to Slow Patrol, which is going to be great. And talking to Slow Patrol, when I spoke to the owner a couple of days ago, obviously Slow Patrol's mentioned quite a bit because that is what's funding this project essentially. But a lot of you have been commenting about, certainly the last couple of videos, about boat ownership. Obviously, you're watching all the videos, you're vested in the project, you're supporting the channel, and the last thing you want is to think, well, hang on, is this guy going to turn up one day and just say, thanks for painting the engine, and take his boat back? So to put your minds at rest, that is not going to happen. I am now the legal and proud owner of this boat. I bought it for the princely sum of £1, and we have done an email correspondence between himself and me, basically saying that he's sold it to me for £1, and that I have now an outstanding debt to him, which will be repaid once Slow Patrol is sold. However, he's the kind of guy that left a £2 Tag Heuer watch on the boat and said, take a couple of links out and help yourself. He doesn't care really about much of this. He doesn't really care when Slow Patrol's sold. He doesn't care when he gets his money back. He doesn't really care exactly how much it is. I know roughly what Slow Patrol's worth, and as long as we don't exceed that on this, then we're fine. He's already spent, I don't know, about 15 grand on this. So getting it down here, there was 5 grand to work here at P&S, a few other bits and pieces. So there's been quite a bit of expenditure already. So we got a bit of money to play with still, and then that's it. So really it's my job to make sure that I am using as many leverages as I can to fit out this boat as well as it can be, as kind of cost effectively as it can be. But that's for me to work out, and to make sure that the maximum value of Slow Patrol is met, so that we can pay him back. This was always based on trust, though. You know, I had to trust him that he wasn't going to take the boat back, that he was going to bring it down to P&S and pay for it all, because you know, we knew at the outset of this there were two things we knew. We knew that his best financial outcome was to sell the boat as it was up in the old marina as a project, just get rid of it there and then. That was his best financial outcome. The other thing we knew is that I didn't have any money to put into this to fit out until I sold Slow Patrol. So those were the two kind of things we knew. And so, you know, not really much has changed. The only thing we had to do is bring boat ownership forward, because just because of, like, with channel and everything, I needed to own it before basically before Slow Patrol was sold and it'd be paid for. So I know I'm in a very lucky position that I can basically own this, and he's kind of half fronting fitting it out way before Slow Patrol sold. And as I said, he doesn't care when that is, if it's this year, next year, the year after, anything like that. But as I said, it's all about trust. So now he's got to trust me that I'm going to pay him back when it's done. I mean, he's massive. There's no way I'm not going to pay him back. But you know, it's always about trust, these kind of things. But we also want to do another boat after this. So if we can come out of this and it's washed its face, or even if it's made him a bob or two, then happy days. We'll just move on to the next one. But right now, it's just kind of really just thinking about Monday and getting everything ready, getting everything sorted for then. The other thing I need to do is insurance. So now I am the owner of the boat. It is down to me to sort out the insurance. And there was insurance on this boat. It did have a policy, but it didn't cover it to be a liverboard. So even though it's not going to be a liverboard just yet, that is its intended purpose, and it will be within the calendar year, or within the year of the insurance. So I'll just get it down as a liverboard insurance. But yeah, not all of them are. So if you are a liverboard, just double check your policy there. But other than that, we're going to be fairly good to go for Monday. Just a few lines I need to do. So I've got a centre line, I think I've got a bow line, I've got no stern line I can see. So yeah, I just need to sort all that kind of stuff out. I've got mooring pins, I've got windlass, so yeah, should be fine for the journey up. Maybe a day or two up there. Hopefully Marlon's going to join us, but he's just bought himself a boat, so he might be a bit tied up with that. Anyway, thank you so much for watching. Until next time, take care, bye bye.